We have we enrolled a student in a particular section, right? We can also retrieve this information as well, right? We can say as follows, where we are in the controller, in the student controller, we would want to do things such as, retrieve for me what are all my what are all the sections that I belong to, right? As a student, what are all my sections? Find sections for student, right? And I would give you the ID of the student of interest, right? So I would have the integer here, integer for the student ID. And what we would do is that we would use the repository to find the student, right? We would find the student, just like we did over here. We find the student, and by loading that student, I'm also loading the sections of that student, right? So I could just return here the students dot get sections. Again, very object oriented, right? I'm not there's no select and joining the two tables. Obviously, internally, it will be joining the two tables, right? It will be joining the student table with the section table, where, right, the section. It'll be joining three tables. Right? It'll be joining the section table, the student table, and the enrollment table, right? And it will fetch the fields from the section table and the student table where, right, the primary keys of students and sections match the foreign keys of the enrollment table, right? It will be all doing the join just with this, very high-level object-oriented API, right? And nowhere do we need to do any join or worry about any of that, okay? So let's expose this, and we say that this is a get mapping. I want the students. I'll pass you the student ID, and I want the sections. Okay, this is a RESTful service. All right, it matches. It's a read operation. Right, I'm only reading. I'm passing you the parent, the primary key, and then a particular aspect of or field in there. So this is a RESTful service. We'll talk about that a little later. And we're going to map this. Oops. What? Copy. We're going to parse that path variable. There we go. So let's run this again. So now if we do a student 1, we say student 1 sections, okay? We do an enter. Notice that we just get an array of the sections for that student, right? I could ask also another student, student number 2, right? And I get only the array of the sections for that particular student. Make sense? This is exactly what I would have expected.